Joe Rogan has spent decades watching the most skilled fighters on the planet test themselves in the unforgiving world of the octagon. He's witnessed history unfold in real time, calling the greatest wars, the most brutal knockouts, and the careers that define the sport. So, when the question of the greatest UFC fighter of all time comes up, Rogan doesn't answer lightly. He's seen Khabib Nurmagomedov retire undefeated, witnessed George's St-Pierre dominate 2 divisions, and marveled at the artistry of Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson. But when all is said and done, there's one name that stands above the rest in his mind: Jon Jones. Rogan didn't hesitate when Peter Berg asked him to name the best ever on his podcast. "He's been a world champion for 14 years, Rogan said, his voice carrying the certainty of a man who has seen it all. The names of other legends were brought into the conversation: St-Pierre, Khabib, Anderson Silva. But when longevity, skill, and sheer dominance were factored in, Jones was the answer Rogan couldn't deny. Longevity is key in the debate, and Jones has been at the pinnacle longer than any other. From the moment he dismantled Mauricio Shogun Rua to win the UFC light heavyweight belt, he never truly lost it. He took down legend after legend: Rampage Jackson, Lyoto Machida, Rashad Evans, Daniel Cormier. An entire era of greats fell at his feet. Even when he faced adversity, whether inside the cage or outside of it, he never allowed himself to be beaten. But it isn't just the wins that make Jones' case so compelling, it's the way he won. He didn't just defeat champions, he destroyed them. The elbow that caved in Brandon Vera's face, the standing guillotine that left Machida unconscious, the sheer genius of adapting to opponents mid-fight and outclassing them at their own game. Jones was a puzzle that no one could solve. A fighter who had every tool at his disposal and the mind to use them perfectly. Yet, Rogan acknowledges that Jones' greatness comes with an asterisk. The scandals, the failed drug tests, the arrests. No fighter of his caliber has been as self-destructive outside of competition. But to Rogan, that only makes Jones' success even more incredible. He used to give himself an excuse, Rogan explained, recounting how Jones admitted to partying recklessly before fights, subconsciously giving himself an out in case of failure. But even in those moments, even when he was training less than his peers and dealing with chaos in his personal life, he still won. No one could touch him. Jones's resurgence at heavyweight only cemented his legacy further. After spending years away from the sport, he returned and annihilated Cyril Gane in minutes to claim the heavyweight belt. And if he follows through with a title defense against Stipe Miocic, he will have done something no one ever thought possible, becoming the greatest light heavyweight and heavyweight the UFC has ever seen. For Rogan, the GOAT conversation will always be debated, and names like St-Pierre and Khabib will forever be in the discussion. But when the full picture is painted, when every factor is considered, he believes there's only one right answer. Jon Jones, flaws and all, is the greatest fighter to ever step foot in the UFC. And until someone comes along and does what he did only better, it's a title he may never relinquish.